right, all right. Hello, Sharon. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm doing ecstatic. I feel great. Super lucky to be here. I know we don't have a lot of time. So I don't know if you know about my podcast, but we are very grateful for anyone who wants to just talk with us. So we got to do something out of love. We call it the over the top introduction. Can I do that for you?
Yeah, sure.
Let's hit it. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is award-winning director, writer, and producer. Also is a certified bona fide globe-trotting foodie. You know her from her work on Meet the Family, The Things You Think I'm Thinking, and the lady behind you politely to hurry up at Bang Bang Ice Cream and Bakery. And that's what we're here to talk about today is her debut feature film called Float, available February 9th, 2024 in selected theaters and tons of streaming platforms. The only thing she enjoys more than filmmaking is a nice glass of red wine. Her mama's al fresco. Shout out to Mama Lee. And if you ask very, 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 very nicely, a chocolate fondue for dessert. Sherren Lee, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Well, Sharon, I'm super excited to meet you mainly because I first learned of your work on Kim's Convenience. And fun fact, my sister Christina had put me up on Kim's Convenience, and her birthday's coming up in a few days as of this recording. And I learned a little bit more about you and your style and just plain who you are. And quite honestly, since we're talking about this movie, is that where you first met Andrea Bang?
Yes, that is where I first met Andrea on Kim's Convenience. Yes, we worked together on that show.
Okay, and you've also worked on Code 8, which I assume is where you met Robbie.
So actually, I came on to Float. I met Robbie through Float. And we ended up working together on Code 8 Part 2 together as
Mm,
well.
okay, okay. Well, the reason I brought that up is because this this story is very character driven. There's a lot of like little short stories with each character, but it was very important to casting those right people. So what was it about those two to be the lead in Float?
Wow. Well, I actually was brought onto the project by Robbie and Robbie's team. So he was already attached to the project from the get-go. They had optioned this Wattpad property and by Kate Merchant. And I got to read the book and it was really special because I saw so much of myself in it and got to sort of pitch them my take on the film. And it all worked out and that was really cool. In terms of casting, I mean, I think as a love story, we obviously wanted our our two leads to have chemistry, but it's difficult to articulate how we went about that. I think it's a largely intuitive process. But we also did this over the pandemic and we had to do our chemistry reads online. Um, but we could see that they were great together even through these virtual chemistry reads. And then having them in the room together, first day on set, we were all very excited because we could see that there was definitely some great chemistry between them.
Okay, okay. And you did mention a little bit about the book that this is based on, but there was a few, this is an adaptation of that, but you made a few changes that is from your personal journey. What made you, well, what inspired those changes?
Yeah, so the book is about a 17-year-old from Alaska who is shipped to Florida by her parents to hang out with her aunt for the summer because they're getting a divorce and they don't know who to take her. And then she nearly drowns and is saved by her lifeguard, boy next door. And for me, I could relate to so much of that. I am an immigrant. I was born in Taiwan and moved to Montreal very young and never really got around to swimming lessons. And so I took adult swimming lessons when I was older and went traveling and fell in love while I was traveling. So this kind of idea of summer romance was a real thing for me. It wasn't a fairy tale. And this other aspect of, tension with your parents, having a complicated relationship with your parents and being able to really communicate with them and connect with them is something that I still, am going through with my family. So I was really interested in telling a love story that was grounded in reality, to show that this could happen to you because it happened to me.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, just, not um yeah, I didn't want it to be a fairy tale. I wanted it to feel really real and have our characters have real problems and confront those realities with each other.
Okay, okay. And you directed this very well. And I love it because there is such a real world environment that you are creating. And I'm going to touch on these like little stories. Well, I don't know how much I want to do. I don't want to give away the movie, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I guess, did you feel more, I guess the word I want to use is vulnerable because you are using your life experience. Say, hey,
Mhm.
Andrea, I did this instead of that. I would assume you're Waverly. So, so like,
Yeah.
hey, I would take it this way, or did putting your life on display on such a big level? How
Yeah.
did you feel about that?
You know, as I was adapting it, I wasn't really thinking that people were gonna see this, you know? But when I started watching it with other people, I was like, oh, I was actually a little shocked myself when I was watching the film, how much of me was on there. And I actually said to Andrea, I was like, I know that's you, but it feels like I'm up there.
Right.
Um, so it is a vulnerable experience. And that's it can be scary, but I've also been really moved by the response, and a lot of people have felt connected to her and have felt seen by her, or through her, I guess. And that's so special, and I'm really glad that my vulnerability on screen is helping people feel more seen and more and less alone. So
Okay. The main through line in this love story is learning how to swim. Um, you talked about in your own personal life, you had to learn how to swim, take adult swim classes. You see Waverly in the movie take swim classes because of what happened to her. And if you ask me, I looked at Andrea while she was swimming. I don't think she was acting. I think she was actually learning how to swim as it went along. Is that true? Does she
that's
know how to swim,
true.
or because it looks like she was actually learning how to swim. If not, she's just an awesome actress.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mix because part of the reason why she was such a great fit for the role is that she also was not 100% confident in the water. So we got her swimming lessons for this film.
Okay.
And and we always had a swim instructor around so that, if she ever felt, unsafe, we were there.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. Like she's not like, super comfortable. So that was real. It was real that she was kind of learning how to swim.
All right. Well, along with that, like learning how to swim is such a metaphor for this movie because it's not just learning how to swim, but how to navigate your own life. Waverly is in this place where everyone loves her and she's not family. Well, she is family, but to her aunt, but everyone's meeting her for the first time, and she finally get a chance to kind of sort of create her own family because her mom and dad are going through their things. They have kind of a strained relationship growing up. So the allegory of learning how to swim, How does that fit in with Waverly or to some degree you? Because, you kind of adapted to you.
Yeah, for sure. I think this whole the parallel of like floating versus learning how to swim, like survival mode and like sort of going through life, going with the currents, like going with the flow, is
Right.
different than swimming and like choosing a direction, choosing a path, and choosing where you want to go. Um, so yeah, she was learning to swim, but she was also learning to decide for herself what she wanted to do. Who does she want to fall in love with, and what she's going to do with her summer, but also with her parents and with her life.
Right.
So it's definitely there, that analogy.
Okay. I have to do this because we're getting up against it, so I only have a few more questions left. But what is it? You talked about the premiere and how people gravitated towards the story, but what would you? Because there's going to be some new people who see this after this podcast. I don't know if you know that or not, but there's going to be some new people. So, what do you want the audience to experience while they're watching this film?
Well, I definitely want them to have a good time and be transported to this beautiful place and maybe give them some more faith and love and in community. But I think more, I guess, importantly, I hope people walk away with a bit more courage to be brave and talk to the people that they love honestly and to be more vulnerable and to really say how they feel and what they want so that people can really meet them.
Okay. My kind of follow-up question to this is very selfish. I want to make that plain. Um,
Mhm.
but I have to ask. I got you here. It'd be dumb not to ask this question. You ever thought about a follow-up sequel? Because we talked about these little stories, and without the risk of ruining this movie, there are so many unanswered questions. We still got Waverly, her job. We still got what happened with the romance. What happened in the fall when the summer ended? What happened with her parents? There was a baby. It's so many unanswered questions. You ever thought about
Yeah.
bringing it back, just running it back one more time, just to answer all these questions?
There's definitely a lot of I mean, I wanted this movie to feel real, so I wanted there to be a future out there waiting for them. So yeah, who knows what will happen next, but I certainly hope we get to see all of these friends back together again.
Okay. I know this is it. This is the last one. We're up against it, but I have to ask. It's obligatory, but I want to know. I've been loving you for a while since Kim's Convenience. What's next on the horizon for you?
Well, I just worked on a TV show called Run the Burbs, and it's currently airing its latest season. So look out for that. My episodes are coming up. And I'm also in the process of financing another a feature drama that is an original screenplay that I've written. So I'm really excited to share that hopefully soon.
All right. Well, Sherren, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. Um, you are welcome back anytime you want to come back. We could chop it up. There's so many things I didn't talk about. Apparently, you learned French. You're a go-to karaoke singer. I want to know your go-to song, but you're welcome back. We'll revisit all of those questions that I didn't get a chance to ask. If you're wondering, I'm partial to Dua Lipa. If you're wondering, so that's what I got for right now. And I love me some Prince too, so I do that too. But what I was
Awesome.
getting at, when I go karaoke, we will chop that up next time you're here. Sherren, thank you so much for dropping by the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Have a good one.